What's up, fathers? It's your brother CJ. Welcome to the Divorce and Custody channel for men. Today, let's talk about getting right, getting in shape after your divorce. Now, the reason for this, I believe, is self-explanatory. See, when you're in a marriage, a lot of us tend to slack a little bit in the, looking good department because we've got ourselves a spouse, and what happens is we tend to slack off. And so after the divorce, you want to get right, and not only so that you can look right for the next chick, but you want to look right for yourself so that you can live a long life, a healthy life, or a naturally good life. And let's talk about that today. I've seen a lot of men who've taken themselves out after their divorce. They had a scarcity mindset, a mindset that says that there is no other woman that's going to want them. And actually, there is more. There is plenty more women that are going to want you, because now you've established a value in yourself. You are a person of value. And so what happens is you have to start thinking with an abundance mindset and recognize that you got to build yourself up before you start bringing another woman into your life. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I want to speak about getting right, because a lot of people end their lives after a divorce, a lot of guys. And it's not worth it, because she's not worth that. That's what she wants to do, is to end you. But when a relationship is over, that's when it's time for you to lift yourself up, to bring yourself back into the game, to know why you started, why you are a man. Because you are a man before you are a husband, right? So why are you a man? To look like a man, to behave like a man, to have aggression like a man, right? To look after your family like a man, to be able to, after your relationship, to be able to build a legacy for yourself. So the reason that I started to change my life was because of Kevin Samuels. And today I'm filming this video on the day that Kevin Samuels is laid down to the ground. And so we deposit a very great man who has helped me a great deal. One of the things that he said and that I implemented was take a year off to just get yourself right spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Just take a year off from dating, from seeing anybody, and just getting yourself right. And guess what? When I started to doing that, I started to working out every day, Monday through Friday, and just kind of giving it a break on the weekends. So every morning I wake up, I take a 2-mile jog, and I pick up a few weights, and I try to do a couple of things in the house. I've got some dumbbells in the house, and I just do that on a daily basis. And sometimes I go to the gym, I work out over there. Now, what am I doing it for? My cardio. I want to make sure that my heart is right, that my blood is pumping right? And that's what that's the first thing that I did. Number 2, I started to get my spiritual life in order. I started to praying a little bit more. I created a room, a space in my house where I just pray, right? Where I just go to have a meeting, an encounter with the Almighty God. And there I find peace. I'm able to create that space. Whenever you make a space and a time for something, you will find time to do the thing. And what I found is it's helped me to grow spiritually so that I am more mature. I'm dealing with my issues on a more mature level. And it's important, because if I should ever be in a relationship again, I want to make sure that I'm mentally, spiritually, emotionally ready for that situation. Number 3, emotionally, I decided that I would take the garbage out. They say garbage in, garbage out, right? I started to removing a lot of people in my social media contacts that I felt like were now becoming irrelevant. They were not adding value into my life. I started to do less and less social media anyway. And I started to just allowing myself to read books that have to do with, emotional boundaries, how to set those boundaries, books that help me to grow as a man. The Alpha Male book. I started to reading that book. I started to reading the No More Mr. Nice Guy book, believe it or not. And that book was like a gem, it was describing me to a T. I just started to take things that can help me to become a better man, so that I'm not the same man in my future that I was in my past. I don't want ever, if I am ever in a relationship, for that relationship again to end up in a divorce. Number 4, I took care of myself mentally, and I do this on a daily basis. I take about 15 minutes out of my day to focus on what do I want? How do I want it to look? Where do I want to go? And I do that from a daily perspective, a weekly perspective, a monthly perspective, a yearly perspective, so that I can give my mind a direction of where I want to go. I set up what is called a decade of a design for myself, where I know what I want to do each year for this next decade. And what am I doing it for? If we give our mind something to be able to achieve, a goal, we are, goal-created, goal-orientated people. So if you give your life and your mind a goal, what's going to happen is your mind is going to find the way to get there, because your mind is really powerful. So I became very clear on where I want to be in the next 10 years. And that forced me to have to say, so where do I want to be this week? Where do I want to be next month? Where do I want to be next year? Okay, that's another really big, powerful thing that I did. And I think those things are some of the foundational things that I've used to sort of cover the basis of how I'm growing ever since the divorce. I'm 3 years since my divorce now. I haven't really dated at all, and I'm just like growing myself, putting myself in a place where I am creating a legacy for my kids and building for the future, right? And I know that a female is in my future, a beautiful looking one at that, but I don't want to put a female in my life and then that become the main focus of my life. Right now, I'm building my first resort. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that opportunity to learn. And then next year, I'm gonna build my second resort. And what I'm gonna do is what I've learned this year, I'm gonna execute that in that next year. In the third year, I will have a sort of mastery in building. So what I'm gonna do in that year, I wanna build 2 resorts. My goal is to create 4 resorts where I can, become one of the best in the area of, travel and hotel and so forth. And I'm working towards, that is one of my goals. That's not my only one, but that's one of my biggest ones. I'm using this time to be able to build that legacy, so that if I should ever be in a relationship, I'm going to make sure that the person that comes into the relationship knows that they're coming into a set future, but that also that they have a reason for signing a prenup, because they're not going to have access to my stuff, that I've been building ever since this divorce, just because we are now married. Another thing I've done ever since my divorce, I bought myself a brand new house. Now I know it wasn't easy to do that, especially after a 3-year battle, right? But I was diligent enough to recognize, look, while you're going through this, make sure you're putting aside money to be able to move forward after the divorce. And what I did was I found ways to be able to secure myself a beautiful brand new home, so that me and my kids can live in that home. And again, that's my property. So if I should find a situation where I get married, that person is coming into a home that's already built. That's my house, not our house, okay? Anyway, fathers, that's what I got for you today. Tell me what you think. If you agree, disagree, if you have any, suggestions, you can put them up in the comments. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell and hit that all, so that you can see all the videos that we are loading on a daily basis. And also, I have the book, the ebook, the 10 things your lawyer won't tell you about divorce and custody. You can secure that at the link that's showing right here on the screen. Also, if you want to one-on-one help and assistance coaching on your personal divorce and custody, feel free to email me again from the link. There's a contact where you can email me on this link right here. As always, fathers, in the meantime and in between time, it's CYA. Cover your assets.